Hello, Legacy Builders. Welcome back to another show. I'm so excited to be back with you with another amazing guest and conversation. And today we're going to talk about a very important topic, which is community. We all understand the value of community. We all, know that when you have a community of like-minded people around you, then that really helps you scale your brand and your business, but also nurture high quality level relationships. I think that's one of those things that always comes out of community. So, in order to be able to help us navigate this important topic today, I have the amazing honor to have Paul Goder here with us. He's the owner and founder of Powwows, the leading online community celebrating Native American arts and culture for the past 25 years. By combining community building and marketing strategies, he's been able to build one of the largest and most engaged, I'm assuming, communities in the virtual space. So, Paul, thank you so much for being here. Very excited to have you. Where are you actually connecting from? Let's start with that.
Oh, thank you. I'm in Lexington, South Carolina today.
Beautiful. From South Carolina to Brooklyn, New York. It's such a blessing to have this virtual connection and this conversation. So, Paul, let's get right into the topic. How do we build an engaging community, a community of also quality relationships? Because I think that's another top of mind pain point for lots of people that are building a community, whether it's a virtual community or a local community. Where do we start with that?
So, I have a different take on community than some folks. I think anybody who, well, let's back up. I'm sorry. Community is anybody who feels a part of something bigger, right? You have a shared experience, a shared belief, and you have that sense of belonging. So I think right now that too many people out there, marketers and business owners, are focused on that community is a social network or a Facebook group or something like that. And I feel a little different. I think anybody who touches your ecosystem, you can make them feel part of your community. So like for me at powwows.com, one of the really hearts of our community is email. And as long as you can engage with your audience in an authentic way and you can talk with them directly, that's building community. And so that's one of the first things I want to tell people is that community doesn't have to be a Facebook group. Anybody who touches your content in some way is part of your community, and they're feeling it. If you're doing it the right way, they feel like they're part of it. So make sure that you're engaging with them, and responding and liking their post or whatever it is. If you're being authentic with them and communicating with them, they can feel that sense of belonging wherever they are.
Thank you so much for sharing your unique perspective on community building, because I think that's as unique as our experiences, and we all have a different idea on how to build a community. But I think me and you are like-minded in the fact that it's all channels to reach the people that we want to serve, and hopefully the channel that we've chosen, whether it's a Facebook group or an email or on our email list or on LinkedIn, whatever is it, that we ensure that we are posting valuable content, and we learn how to nurture relationships beyond just that channel. So I think it's really cool that you also share that as well. Paul, you have built a community, as you said. You've been very successful using the channel of email list or emailing your people and your community in order to grow and nurture relationships. So based on your lessons and learnings, and also the way you probably also help your clients to be able to do the same, what are some, steps in the process for someone listening that maybe they haven't considered emails being that channel, or maybe now with a very noisy world of content creation, they're finding that their emails are not really bringing in quality conversations.
Right.
What is your unique methodology to be able to grow a healthy, valuable community through our emails?
I think the real strength in emails is building out automations first. And to do that, I think, you need to really know your audience. So maybe building automations isn't the first thing you do as far as when you're starting to build community. But once you kind of know who your audience is, and maybe if you've done the research or if you've engaged with them for a while, and you know what kind of content they're wanting, what kind of questions they're asking, then it's easy to kind of build out these sequences or segments of your audience and answer those questions. For example, at powwows.com, I have a lot of people that email me and they want to go to a powwow. Maybe they're not Native American, or they grew up outside the culture and they want to go to one, but they're a little apprehensive. They don't know what's going to happen, what the rules are, what they should wear. And so I have a whole email sequence about what to expect at your first powwow, and I kind of take people through that whole journey. So that is answering their question and delivering the content they want. So when you can build those kind of things first, that you're going to see the power of it. And now in those sequences, I make sure, like, the first email and the what to expect at your first powwow, and the first email I say, the last thing I say in the email is, hey, I know you're looking forward to going to your first powwow. What is it that you're most excited about? Are you looking forward to the dancing, the singing? Are you a shopper and want to go look at the crafts? Are you really excited to try some different food? Let me know what it is. And I get, lots of responses, dozens every week, of people emailing me, oh man, I'm so excited about this. And then I can start a conversation. So now you're having conversations, not just shouting email at people, right? So if you can find ways to develop these sequences and segments that answer questions and deliver the content how they want it, and then engage with them, you'll see the power, and you'll really build that strong community.
Wow, I love that you said journey, because that's my favorite keyword as well, building
Yeah.
out prospect journeys, right? Because there is a journey in building relationships, whether it's our personal life or our professional or our business in this case. So I love that you called it that, and also being very attentive around what is it that that community is needing? What are their questions? What are their needs? What are their, their wants, their desires, the things that you can provide so that you are serving that community at the highest level. And I love that you also mentioned automations, because I'm also a systems and operations person myself. And when you're operating at scale, especially for a lot of us that are listening here, have big visions. We, build companies that hopefully are self-sustainable and are also creating impact beyond just one person, which is the owner. Automations is another great way for us to be able to impact and serve at scale as well. So there's no shame in that. Obviously, we all have to be very intentional about setting a lot of that up so that it's utilizing our own authenticity and all of that. But yeah, this is where we are with technology and AI. So I think it's definitely a very smart way to utilize helping and creating impact at scale.
Right.
Paul, I had a question around, once we have nurtured our community through emails and people already know, like, and trust us, which is such an important factor in any journey or any brand building activity, how do we now ensure that those emails are actually converting? Could be another top of mind topic for lots of our listeners today.
Yeah. I know a lot of people, they build these sequences and they build these funnels, right, to get them from the cold stage to the warm to know, like, and trust, right? And you're trying to move them toward it. First thing I want to say is, don't always build your sequences for that, especially in email. I mean, sometimes you just want to educate your people and engage with them, and it's okay to have some of these automations that just help your reader out and engage with them. But once you get them there, then I think it is, you can then offer other things, right? You can, with automations or whatever, you can move them into other sequences that maybe then deliver. But I think it is super important that however they come into your system, that you take some time to educate them, to make them feel comfortable, part of your community, answer their questions, whether it's through replies or developing these sequences, and then whether it's you're sending out weekly emails, broadcasts, or moving them into other sequences. I think then they're more likely to engage with the rest of your content, whether that's clicking a link to buy something or moving into a Facebook group or whatever. But I think you have to use some of these sequences just as education and engagement first.
I love that you brought us back to the first part. I love that, the nurturing and really being of service to people, because
Right.
we all have experience just being thrown under email lists and just
Yeah.
being pitched left and right, offers that might be very valuable. But I always say that if you haven't been intentional with the know, like, and trust factor first, then I don't think that, I pay attention to people that I don't really know, like, or trust, right? Or that have not had it, uh, that have not added value to me in one way or another, because that's kind of where we are. So I love that you also mentioned that as well. I had a question around frequency of emails with all this content creation boom that AI has also,
Right.
I guess, stemmed or facilitated for this to be much simpler nowadays. Is there like a good rule of thumb around the frequency so that your list is not bombarded by a lot of your emails, but they're
Yeah.
also intentional of when we're sending them, so that obviously the success rate of any email is the open rate, right?
Right. Right.
So that people are looking towards the stuff that we're sending, but they're also highly engaging, with the content on our emails.
Yeah, I think it's really important to know your audience and to look at those kind of metrics. But what I always tell like the clients I'm working with is, as far as your broadcast messages, the ones you're sending to the entire list, I think you can send those as frequently as you have value. So, like for me on my powells.com list, we send anywhere from 3 to 5 broadcast messages, not sequences, broadcast messages to the entire list every week, because each of those broadcasts have of they're valuable to the reader. So I've sent like an extra email one time, or a few times where it was probably something that should have been inside of another email. It didn't need to be a separate one. And you'll hear from them. You'll say, hey, did we need this one today? And so they'll let you know. But when I send out these broadcasts that I'm doing, and they're providing value and they're giving the people what they want, I don't get many complaints. I mean, I have a list of like 115,000, and I'll send 5. I think probably last week we probably sent 5 or 6 broadcast messages, and I got no complaints because the people wanted that information. So I think it's important that as long as you're providing value. Now, if you're new and you're just starting out, you probably don't want to email your list 6 times in a week. You want to build them up and again, provide all that value. But I'm working with a client now, and she has a 60% open rate and like an 8% click through, and she's only sending 1 email a week. I'm like, your readers are telling you they want your content. Let's try 1 more time a week and let's see what happens. I mean, at 50 plus open rate, they're reading your stuff, right? I mean, they want it. Let's give them a little bit more and see. And it's hesitant at first when people kind of think that, because they're worried about spamming their audience. But again, if that second email you send in a week is just as valuable as the first, you're going to be okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I love it. Be intentional and check your numbers, check your
Yeah.
analytics, because people speak through numbers, right? And you're able to see whether they're finding value from what you're sending, or the way to harmonize, just like we harmonize content, right? I mean, there's call to actions and offers that we can place on our audience, but there's also lots of service oriented, value added content. With it's the only purpose of that is that. So I think harmonization, just like personal and professional life, is the key to also emails as well. How did you build such a big email list? I think let's backtrack to maybe the beginning of our conversation. What are the right sources, or in your experience, what have you used, or how do you help your clients to be able to build that? Because I know that's a very important metric when you're able to build your company as an asset, and it's and you're getting your company evaluated. The size of that and the quality and the engagement of your email list is very important. So what can we share with our audience around that?
Yeah, my email list is a fundamental part of my business. I deeply care about it, and that's 100 and something thousand people that are engaged. I purge it often, so I really I love my subscribers. So building your list, I mean, it's over time, right? I didn't get there overnight. It's something I've done over time. Now, there's a couple of things that I like to use that help. So one of those is I do a lot of landing pages. So whether I'm talking on a live show, or we do live streams of powwows, I'm able to put a graphic up and kind of going back to the what to expect at your first powwow. I have a landing page just for that. So powwows.com/powwow101. And I'm able to tell people, I'm able to put a quick graphic up on a live show, or inside of a YouTube video, stuff like that. And so that takes people right to that page. And the only thing on it is a call to action for them to subscribe and get that set of emails to help them go to their first powwow. So I do a lot of landing pages. That helps a lot. I use a tool called ConvertBox, which allows me to do opt-ins. I'm using WordPress. So I'm able to deliver opt-ins based on the category of my page or the tags on my page. So again, I'm able to deliver an opt-in message that's related to the content they're looking at. So, like for example, we have some pages on tracing your family heritage, or if you want to try a DNA test, what that really means, and how you use that. And so, if you're on those pages, you may get an opt-in that says, "Hey, you want a step-by-step instruction on how to use Ancestry.com or something like that." And so, that's been a really big help. Another one, if you are running a Facebook group, there's a tool called, there's a couple of them, but I use a tool called Group Leads that if you ask in those 3 questions when people go to join your page, if you ask them for their email address, Group Leads will help you collect all of those automatically. I've gained like 20,000 subscribers off of my Facebook group by doing that. So that's really helpful. And then I also do a lot of giveaways using my favorite software is Viral Suite, but every month I'm doing some kind of giveaway. And to enter the contest, the first thing you have to do to enter the contest is, of course, give me your email. And I've worked with several different sponsors, and so I get some really great prizes that are kind of targeted at my audience that they would really love. So that helps. And here's my plug, paulgowder.com/email tools. I have all these tools kind of laid out and how I use them. But yeah, those are just some of the ways that I help build email.
Yeah, I appreciate you sharing that. And I will definitely repeat that at the end of the interview for people that kind of want to just get a visual around some of the tools that you mentioned. But yeah, a lot of great international being intentional behind the business. I think it's really important, and knowing what we're doing around the bigger map of the journeys. I think it's really important as well, and you're doing it so intentionally. That's why, I mean, it's always easier to get people on your list, but it's hard to keep people on your list. So I think that's the other piece that I think you are just very loud and clearly articulating very well. Paul, I appreciate everything you've shared. At this point of the interview, I'd like to get a little insight behind your purpose. If you could share some of the most meaningful moments in your journey that actually led you to this work that you're doing, and what's behind the name Powwow. That got me curious.
Yeah. So I started PAULs.com back in actually 1996, way back. And at the time I was in graduate school and I was just wanting to build, learn this whole HTML thing and build web pages. And I had some friends that were first starting to take me to powwows and teach me how to make the regalia, what the songs meant and all that. And for me, it was just a way to put the things out there I was learning. I was, really excited about exploring this new world and learning all these things and going to some of my first powwows. So I was sharing pictures. So I never really thought that it would be a business. It was never really that. It was just my way of sharing and being excited about what I was learning. And it just took off from there. And so powwows are Native American celebrations. They happen all over North America and Canada. So they happen for a variety of reasons, whether it's maybe an annual homecoming or a birthday, a graduation. Tribes will hold them annually for different reasons, but they're just celebrations involving dance and singing and crafts and food. It's a full festival of Native American culture. I highly encourage you, if you haven't been to one, they're open to the public. You should go check it out. But that's where powwows.com came from.
Oh, I love that. See, yeah, that's very, very cool. I'll definitely go check that out. But that's what's behind the name. That's very, very cool as well. And I think, yeah, most of us that are purpose driven, I think it's important to pay attention to things that attract us, because that's always going to be the thing that is the fuel behind the fire of all the work that it takes to build anything. So, including a community based on, or an email list based on what we talked about today. Paul, I would love to end the show with a final message, whatever you really feel to kind of leave our audience with, and also where is it that the audience can continue this conversation with you today?
Yeah, if you're looking to build community or level up your email marketing, I'd love to help you. Please feel free to reach out, paulgowder.com. And if you're interested in attending a powwow, check out powwows.com. We've got resources to help you. I've mentioned those before. But for me, I just want to encourage people, one, if you haven't started already, build your list and nurture your list. Talk to them, reply to them, ask questions, engage. You will be amazed at what an email list will do. I love it because I know that when I send the email out, people are going to respond to it, as opposed to if I post a message on Facebook, I have no idea if anybody's going to see it, let alone, anybody read it. You send an email out, people are going to read it, engage with them, talk to them. Those conversations are so valuable. I love checking my email every day and getting those responses. So don't look past your email list. Really, really use it and nurture it.
All right, beautiful. And Paul, is it the same website where they can find the resources that you mentioned to actually grow their
email?
Yep,
paulgowder.com/email tools, and you can find out all about what some of the services I offer there too.
All right, definitely highly encourage you if you're looking to grow your email list. I think that's an ongoing business operation activity.
Yeah.
So definitely check out Paul's website and all the amazing work and resources that he has already figured out. And that's the power of, aligning ourselves with the people that we can find value from, but also that can move us further faster towards our purpose and the vision that we have for the scaling of our companies. Paul, thank you so much for being part of our show. I want to thank you for being loyal listeners and just reminding you to support the show, subscribe, review, and share. That means a lot to us so that we can continue to bring amazing guest experts just like Paul and thought leaders in their industry. And we still have a few spots available. So if you're interested in that, just let me know. Thank you so much for watching and see you next time. Bye, everybody. Are you experiencing these two main gaps in your company and your business? Inconsistent cash flow and clients, and also scalability issues. Maybe you've reached your maximum capacity with your current business model and the way that you're operating your business now, and you are really experiencing burnout and no time freedom in your business, but you're not sure what to do to be able to scale your company to the next level so that your company also becomes an independent asset outside of you so that it can become an asset if maybe later you would like to sell your company or build a legacy company that really does more good in the world. For my dear podcast listeners, I'm offering a free 30-minute discovery call where I will intentively listen to what is it that you've built in your company thus far and then offer my insight around some of the gaps that I can hear from the main gaps that we talked about at the beginning of this conversation that you might be experiencing. And I would love to offer some insight around my experience on what might some of those gaps be and ways to further support you in the future of the scaling of your purpose and profit so that absolutely you can do more good in the world and your company can be independent of its founder and owner and become an asset that also creates amazing momentum out there in the world. For a limited time, I would love to offer my 30-minute time on my calendar for a free discovery call. You can just grab a time on the QSR code right here on the left-hand side of the screen and grab a time so we can further connect. Again, thank you so much for being loyal listeners to the podcast and also for always supporting the show. I'll see you with another episode and another amazing conversation.